Hey guys, it's Misty with My Paper Cuts, and I'm coming on today with another card share. So for this card, I actually dug into my bin of images that I had previously colored. So I have this stamp set here from My Favorite Things, which is called Slumbering Sloths, and I had stamped out the 5 images, and I had watercolored and paper pieced them for future projects. So I do have a large bin of tons of colored images here in my stash because I don't always have time to do a full project. So sometimes if I'm just watching TV or unwinding from work or waiting somewhere for a long time, I will just sit and color images. So I have a ton of them ready to go. So I reached into my bin and grabbed the ones that I had done with this. And I had paper pieced them with 2 of the My Mind's Eye Lost and Found collections. So this came into Tuesday Morning a few years back, I think 3 years ago. Yeah, 2019. I think I was working there when these came in. But these are classic paper lines from My Mind's Eye. There were several versions. I have Market Street and Portobello Road here, which is what I used for paper piecing my images, and I will be using the papers in the cards. I also have them in 12 by 12. But like I said, I'm trying to use up some of my 6 by 6 papers because I have too many. I have overflow now, so it's time to get it to where it fits in the bins that I have so I don't buy more of the bins that I store my 6 by 6 in. And so these are the paper pads. So Portobello Road is more of a turquoise and cream and has a bit of a Western theme to it, but it's got some nice kind of vintage general patterns. Very pretty. I think this is one of your favorites. And then Market Street I know was a really popular one when this hit Tuesday Morning. This is the pinks and aquas that I know that's a very popular color amongst a lot of crafters, those 2 colors. So I know this one was really popular. In fact, I think at the time I picked one up for Ty because she couldn't find it. But yeah, very pretty collection. And this is the one I used on my card today. And then I also used this card kit from Hero Arts. This is at least a couple of years old. I don't buy their card kits very often. I've never subscribed. I've always just bought them one-off. And I think I have maybe 4 kits total. But this was a galaxy themed one, and I thought it was a lot of fun. The reason I don't buy their card kits very often is because the images are small and I get a little frustrated. Sometimes I like focal point images more than creating a scene. So I think that's why I'm not always drawn to Hero Arts. But the really cool thing about Hero Arts is you also get really good dies. So for this kit, you've got, of course, some of the coordinating dies, but then you also have this giant oval here that has these 2 frame pieces. So this one cuts out like a galaxy pattern inside the frame, and then this one cuts out like clouds and stars, which this is the one that I used today. So I used that kit, and then these inks are here because I also used those, and it is oxides in spun sugar, squeezed lemonade, and tumble glass. So I'm going to go ahead and share the card. So basically I used the sloth on the moon. The paper piecing is her hat and her jammy bottoms. And then the watercoloring was done with my Inktense pencils. So I cut her out with my brother's Scan and Cut along with the other sloths, which I'll share those at the end. And I put her on top of this, the frame, like I mentioned. So it's the oval frame with the cloud insert. And I cut that out of watercolor paper and ink smushed with these 3 colors. Just to create kind of a colorful but soft pastel cloudy background. And that is also inked around the edges with Broken China Distress, just to give it a little bit more definition. When I put it down on this background piece of paper, which is from the collection, it just it wasn't popping off. So I fixed that with a little Broken China around the edges, and I popped up the whole thing on foam. Behind the frame itself is some specialty paper, and that is from Tonic. And it's one of their cotton papers. It's called Caribbean Tide, and it's this really cool watery pattern. But the cool thing about these cotton papers is you get double duty. So the back of them has the same texture, but always in white. So You can definitely still use this as like clouds and just flip it over and just use the back. So I love the cotton papers. The frame itself, I wanted to mention, I cut that out of inexpensive watercolor paper, and along with the cloud and the stars. I will buy Hobby Lobby watercolor paper when it goes on sale. I don't use it to paint on. The way that I watercolor and the Master's Touch watercolor paper from Hobby Lobby, it's not a good vibe. It does not work for me. It's just, I need the smoother paper, and I feel like it's just not for me to paint on. But I love it because it's very thick and it has a cool texture. So I like to die cut from it, and I do like it for ink smushing because the texture adds even more depth to the smushing. But here's a piece of it just so you guys can see it a little more up close. It is very, very thick. It is very inexpensive when it goes on sale, and it's got a really nice texture to it. So I do use it quite often for things like that. And then the star and the clouds that I added on the edges here, I just watercolored those with these two colors here. The star, I added little dots of unicorn stickles just kind of on one side. And then the clouds, I did the tonic shimmer pen. This is just like Wink of Stella, but I find Wink of Stella glitter is warmer and more of a gold tone, whereas the tonic and the Spectrum Noir shimmer pens, they are, the clear ones are more of a silver or a white glitter. So I liked that. I don't know if the camera will be able to pick up the shine of that shimmer, but so that is the front of the card. The sentiment is also from the card kit. I stamped that and cut it out, and it's shadow layer with my brother Scan and Cut. I've been liking doing that again lately. It's something I used to always do. I don't like to buy coordinating dies separately when I buy things. So, and I noticed that lately that a lot more companies are doing coordinating dies for sentiments, but I like to do it with my Scan and Cut, so that saves me a lot of money, which was the whole purpose of buying my Scan and Cut. So I just cut that out and layered it on some pink. And then the inside of the card has another one of the sentiments, which is Let Your Light Shine. And I did some of the star stamping with the Spun Sugar Distress Oxide. I love to stamp with oxide inks. They're so creamy. They stamp very nicely. So I did 2 of each pattern that I picked. I did 8 total. When I colored up these sloths, I colored up basically 8 sets of them. So I have a whole bunch here. So I'll share the rest of this card, and then I'll show you what my other sloths do look like, because they are set to go. And interestingly enough, I think this neutral one here with just this very soft cream stripe is my favorite in this set. So there's those 8, and I'll show you the other 4 sloths now. Let me get this back out because they might show it better on here. So here is that little one. I think this one is probably my favorite. I just love a good plaid paper too. So then there's that little girl with her star. And then this last one here. So those are the other ones that I have. I'll hold those up so you can see them. And there are 8 of each, so I will have, you know, a whole bunch more cards. So in the end, I think there's going to be kind of a matching set, I'm hoping. If not, then they still serve their purpose, and I really, really love them. So thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you on the next one.